Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to go into another variation of the Swish pattern. And this is one you're not going to learn anywhere else except the book, The Ultimate Guide to the Swish Pattern, I think it's called, or Mastering the Swish. I can't remember the title. I'll post about it in the comments. It's by Sean Carrion, and I'm totally blanking on the authors too. I'll post about it in there. Incredible book. And in it they talk about how you can use metaphor in your desired image. So this is something that you're not going to get in your regular trainings. But metaphor, as you and I know, is something that can package information for your unconscious mind. So before we talk about how you can use metaphor when you're doing the Swish pattern for yourself, I want to provide a caveat to you. And this, I can hear the words of Steve Andreas or Damon Cart saying that you want to, when you're doing change work, you want to get out of metaphor and be more specific. So remember that when I present to you or when I give you a tool, I'm not saying that this is the right way. I'm saying that this is a way to do this. And the reason I'm giving you so many variations of the Swish pattern is so that you can learn how to, press your own buttons of mindset. I've learned that by studying Damon and Steve and Richard Bandler and Tony Robbins, who all have different philosophies and mindfulness that you get to ultimately test out what works best for you and then use it in ways that make your life better. So I'll tell you how we can, one, use metaphor effectively, and then two, why Damon or Steve might have said, get into specifics. And then I'll show you how you can actually utilize both so you get the best of both worlds. So imagine, for you will, I'm going to use the example in the book, and I'm going to go ahead and reference the book here. I'll probably cut it in. They talk about a client who wants to do the Swish pattern, and they say, do you know anybody who has the particular way of being that you wish you had? And it can be anyone, from a mentor, it could be a superhero, it could be even an animal, right? So Jonathan Wineland, who's an amazing relationship and intimacy coach, when he's teaching men how to have more swagger, one of the things he does is he says, I want you to imagine that you're a puma. And so you get your kind of like sleek puma walk and the relaxation and the power. And metaphor can allow you to learn things like that it may have been difficult to understand consciously. So who is a metaphor in your life that you could use to be able to gain some of the resources that you want for yourself? So for me, for example, I'm a huge Batman nerd. So I could do a Swish pattern where I see Batman having the qualities that I like. For example, relentless determination and tenacity, and being committed to his purpose, and radical intelligence, and a skilled ninja. And I could see all of those things, right? And I could build up that desired image, and then I could step into it and pretend I'm Batman. So this is too fun not to do. One key understanding is that when you understand how to do mindset correctly, you will start to enjoy it. So as you watch this now, you're going to see me do the exercise, notice my state changes, at the risk of being silly here and closing my eyes and smiling on camera. I'm doing that so that you can see physiologically the differences it makes in my state. So if I imagine that if I could step into Batman, and then step out of it and bring with me that state that I discovered. In that instance, it was a very serious, determined kind of thing. Actually, now doing that, I realize I don't want to model Batman because he's just not tremendously happy. But in any case, you can take the metaphor that you like, and instead of just swishing your desired image, you can take only with you the resources that you want. So when I just did that, I felt the power, the strength, and the tenacity of Batman. Now I can take just that learning, put aside his unhappiness, and then imagine my self-image with those qualities. So I'll ask myself, what will it look like as I see myself having those qualities? How would I know? By looking at my face, the way I breathe, the way I move through the world, the way I communicate, the way I engage in different behaviors. How would I know if I was looking at myself having these qualities? How would I know I had them? So it's just laser focus for me. I see it in the eyes, this laser focus that lets you know that you have these qualities. And then I could do the swish pattern with having incorporated the learnings of that metaphor. Now, another way to do it would be just to swish with Batman. So you could see your current image and then see an image of Batman, and that might trigger you to go into a different state. I would advise you to do the first one, where you step in, you associate into the metaphor, the mentor, take with you what you want, and then build it into your self-image so that you can see yourself having those qualities rather than having to externalize the image. And that would be, if I can be so bold, that would be, I think, Damon or Steve Andreas's criticism of using metaphor in a swish, is that, number one, it's abstract, so there's not a lot of specific detail to guide behavior. That's not necessarily a good or bad thing, but that's something to be aware of. And two, you haven't incorporated it into who you are. So you can get the benefits of both. Use the metaphor, learn the resources, and then incorporate it into your self-image. Hey, make sure you're liking, commenting, and subscribing. These videos, if you watch them, you do the techniques, you start to begin to master this stuff, you're gonna notice profound changes in your life. You're gonna notice differences in the way you feel. You're gonna notice differences in the way you behave, the way people respond to you, your income, your choices. Things will change. Do the exercises, comment if you have questions, and look out for the next videos in which we're gonna be going into things like auditory swish patterns, kinesthetic swish patterns, how to go from a negative feeling to a positive feeling, how to change your negative internal dialogue to a positive internal dialogue. And I'll see you in those future videos.